It was a brilliant play, and there's so much to think about from that presentation, and from the writing was just so on point, I think, given what we're talking about today. So gameplay, this is now the panel discussion, and I'm delighted to welcome our panellists today. So right beside me we have Eliza Downey, who's a former Ulster rugby player and now Senior Associate at Joe Hopkins Consulting. Round of applause for Eliza. Beside Eliza is Jess Fay, who is a PE teacher and the Glentoran captain. Very little impartiality in this audience there must be Glentoran fans in. And finally we have Nora Sullivan, Belfast Raven, and who's also a sports psychology PhD student. So it's great to see you all, and it's great to be here and taking part in this discussion. And, you know, through the play there, we saw how you can speak to the strength of sport. It's not about winning, it's about bouncing back, facing and dealing with disappointment. How the skills learned when you participate or take part in sport will benefit you in life. All about the benefits, not the barriers, and all about the crack, fun and enjoyment as well. And I just wanted to throw out, before we start talking, some of the key findings from the Electric Ireland research. I find this really, really interesting and sadly unsurprising as well. The top factors affecting girls' resilience are social media. 80% of girls are affected by that. Body image and pressure. This is why girls between the age of 12 to 15 tend to drop out of sport at that age. And cyberbullying, sadly, 49% of girls said that affects them. Parents, 59% of them believe that they can help their daughter, that sport can help their daughter cope with failure. And also nearly 60% believe that sport and participation in sport can enhance ability to move on from failure, as we saw really well exemplified in the play. And then a really interesting one as well, I know Jess, you're going to pick up on this one, I'd say, the PE teachers, the negative influence of social media there as well, and then the mixed classes are an issue, and low confidence levels, and PE kit, the age-old problem of PE kit comes into play in these findings as well. So maybe I will just start with you with the conversation today, Jess, because you are at the coalface, you're the teacher. Are you one of those teachers who says fail to prepare, prepare to fail? Because that got a laugh out of everybody earlier on. I just imagine you must have heard that in class before. So, you know, you have great experience from playing on teams yourself then. So can you tell us what you're seeing in schools, particularly amongst girls around 12 to 15, and the reasons why they might not want to continue participating in sport?
Yeah, I think working in a school, I kind of get to see both sides of the impact that sport can have. You know, I witness a lot of girls experience barriers to sport, and then I also get to see the gifted and talented who are really thriving in it, and I can see the benefits it's having for them. And you know, it's our job as PE teachers to try and find a balance and find something for everyone that, you know, you can encourage them, you know, to take part in any type of team sport. But you know, like the findings say, you know, they're not shocking. The PE kit and, you know, I think the COVID years was probably when we probably had the most participation, because pupils were coming in their PE kit and they weren't having to get changed in front of anyone. There was no embarrassment level, you know, in front of their peers. And now, as we've kind of returned to normality, we're probably seeing there's a lot more notes coming in from parents to say, oh, you know, she's got a sore throat today, or her stomach's feeling a wee bit sore. And it's kind of that battle of, you know, it's hard to kind of push it if there's, you know, that from home, you know, the notes coming in to say they're not going to participate. But, you know, I think teenage girls are also very critical of themselves, and especially as they get to that age of 14, 15, I think if they you know, recognise that it's maybe not one of their strengths, they're very reluctant to then want to persevere and push through that. You know, but then on the other hand, I see the pupils in the school that you know, thrive through sport and that are so confident in all aspects of school life, you know, through their schoolwork, through you know, interacting with their peers, you know, through going out with the sports and teams. So there really is a great contrast at the minute in schools.
You can see whenever it all clicks into place, the benefits are there for everyone to see. Yeah. And then the difficulty is, and that's the age-old problem of bringing young girls with you, and all those feelings of being awkward. Believe it or not, we were your age once as well. So we kind of remember all those your body's changing, you're changing, there's hormones, there's all this stuff that you just don't want to talk to anybody about because please stop. You might even find this discussion a wee bit uncomfortable as well in that regard. So what can you do, Jess, do you think, to bring on the girl who isn't the superstar? She doesn't have it all sorted out when it comes to sport, but how can you bring them in that she's not as self-conscious about herself and that she can just get mucked in and get involved?
Yeah, I think it's a real big challenge that we're kind of having, but our job is to try and make people feel as comfortable as possible in what they see as an uncomfortable environment, and to help them with the tools and strategies that they can kind of overcome that, and to go out and enjoy it. I think, we were talking beforehand, everyone participates in sport. Number one, yes, we like winning, but it's the fun and the enjoyment and the social aspect of it. And for us, it's to try and create those connections with other people's, with friends in their class, maybe to go out and make friends in other classes, and find a little niche that fits them and suits them, that we can encourage them to come along and keep active.
Yeah, and that idea of not needing to win all the time. The winning is great when it happens, but you don't need to win all the time. Eliza, you've progressed from playing sport to mentoring role of a different kind from Jess. You work with elite sports people. But again, back to the point, not everybody can play at that level or be the captain or be the leader. So with the Electric Ireland posters that say, when you make the team makes you, for you, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, look, first of all, it's brilliant to be here today. Events like this are so crucial, and they're really enjoyable also. Like, a lot of us know each other or know people. The world of women and girls sport is so connected. For me, you don't have to be a captain or in the leadership team to lead. That's from the get-go. I've been doing a work with a younger Northern Ireland squad at the moment, and we talked about leading from the bench. You can lead from anywhere. There's a really great book by Abby Wambach, a former US footballer, and she has these rules around the wolf pack, and one of them is leading from the bench. You don't have to be the star player, the technical player. You can add amazing value, and finding your role and finding where you're comfortable and having confidence in doing that. And that's a lot about you starting to be comfortable about who you are yourself, and a bit around self-awareness and what makes you tick, and that you're enough, that you don't have to be the person scoring the goals or the person that the camera's always on. You can make a real difference to the team that you're playing on. And I've played team sports my entire life. And like Jess said, and we've played on a team together, you're definitely not there it's not about the winning at all. And I know we always say that, and that sounds cliche. It's 100% about the people that are on the teams with you, that shape you, that build your character, that are there for you. You used to see those people more than you did your own family and friends and partners. And outside of the team, some of them are not going to be your best friends for life. But in that sphere where you have that trust and you've worked really hard to get to know each other, what each other needs in those moments that are high pressured, that you need to perform. Some of the best players I've played with were not the best technical players. Them as people, the values they had, how they were able to be selfless, put others first, know exactly what to say to me in a moment that just brought the best. And they took the time to get to know me, and they cared. And I think all of that is what actually sport is about. We get caught up in this elitism of being the best and winning games. And usually that is the measure of success when you move into performance sport. But actually at the core of it, it's you as a person and the value that you can bring and understanding yourself and not being afraid of that. Because we talk about younger people and hormones, and we remember what it was like. I still feel like a huge imposter going into certain arenas. Like, I had nerves today coming here. I had to call on resilience this morning when the taxi didn't turn up and I couldn't get parking when I had to drive, and trying to be like, okay, let's not freak out here. I know I need to get here, so that's not going to help. So the play was super relatable. We were just sitting nodding away in the front row. Yeah,
I found myself in a situation the other night where I needed to call on the deep breathing just to give myself, to settle myself down, just to in for 5, out for 5, and yep, okay, I've got this. And I think we all need to do that, just that little check-in. And again, these are the skills that are learned from sport. And it's so interesting you mentioned Abby Wambach, by the way. I've made a note of that. So I'm thinking sports psychology books all the time, because you're always learning. I think they're so insightful. And honestly, when I heard you were going to be here today, Nora, I was so excited, because sports psychology is such an exciting subject. It's something you are studying at the moment. And this idea of everybody in the team playing a role, being able to manage people, tap into people, realise the values that everybody brings to the table. Just how important is that in a team dynamic?
Oh, I think it's absolutely vital that everybody is there for each other and supports each other. And I mean, these two over here are the actual great athletes. I'm just a silly old person who plays football. But yet sport has had such an impact on my life right from the beginning. I mean, I moved here at the age of 12 from America to Belfast. And the one thing that I had as a constant has always been sport, and it's always been there for me. And like, as Eliza said, like, winning isn't everything. I hope my coach doesn't mind me saying, he's back there, that my team doesn't win a ton of games, but yet we still have the best time ever. And it's okay if you're not great. Sport is, it's just fantastic in helping you in all aspects of your life. You gain valuable skills from it. Without playing sport, I wouldn't be doing sports psychology today. And I think a lot of my experiences that I've had through sport are truly what got me into my PhD and doing that. And even like during the play with the whole interview thing, I did my interview for my PhD, came off it and went, oh God, there's no way I've gotten that. But I think, like, as the play demonstrated, if you can tap into what you've learned from sport and just believing in yourself and winging it, it's okay to wing it and to just not be completely confident in yourself, but know that I have the experience and I'm worth being here.
Did you see that notion of confidence though? And again, it was really well exemplified in the play. I thought the idea when we're younger, and particularly teenage years, there's a lot of pressure on to succeed academically, even to get the boyfriend, get the girlfriend, have the partner, have all these boxes ticked in life. It's a lot of pressure on. And you feel sometimes in the sphere of sport, there was a pressure on to be good at it. And if you weren't good at it, then what was the point? And that seems to be a bit of a barrier to getting girls involved in sport. So from your point of view, it's interesting to hear you say, Nora, that I just play at this group of girls, and we just do this and we just do that. But getting to your how did you get yourself to the point where you accepted that was okay and that is good, and you accepted the benefits of exploring sport at that level?
I would say it was hard. So I actually went to Fort William, like some of the girls here, and there was definitely a stage where I was like, almost felt weird for wanting to take part in sport, because everyone else in my class would have the notes saying, oh, I'm not well, or would forget their kit and stuff. And I did feel a bit awkward for a while, but I think it's just, sport meant so much to me that even though I knew I wasn't ever going to be a fantastic player, I was never going to be an international, I knew that I benefited from it so much that I didn't want to not have it in my life. And I knew that I had to keep going, and that it would give so much back to me. If you allow sport to be a part of your life, that you'll gain so much. I have my best friends from sport. It's always an escape for me, especially during GCSEs and A-levels. I remember my parents saying, oh, no, you shouldn't go to training, you shouldn't do this, you need to focus. And I kind of fought them on it. And looking back now, my parents say, God, we're so glad you stuck with it, because it's taken me everywhere.
And you need it as well. Do you want to come in on that, Jess?
No, it's just, like you say, a lot of people maybe think that coming up the exam times that, you can't participate in sport because, exams has to be the number one thing in your life. But, coming from a school perspective, I think we always see that the girls, the boys who are, involved in sport are almost the ones that kind of excel, when it comes to academics, because they're the ones that are able to manage their time a wee bit better. They're able to cope with the pressure of exams a wee bit better. And they've went through, many years of, I have to go to school, I have to get my dinner, I'm running the training, but I've got an hour or I've got half an hour here to do my homework. So whenever it comes to exam time, they're used to the pressure through sport, but also whenever it comes to exams, well, I've got, 4 days to revise for this. I can still go to training for an hour because I know I've got 3 hours or 4 hours left throughout the week that I'm going to dedicate my time to my revision. So I think, we need to encourage it a wee bit more, that getting out and getting a break and getting active, whenever we're under pressure in school is only going to be beneficial.
Yeah. Natasha Bedingfield is down there somewhere, still The rest is still unwritten. It is indeed, girls. That is exactly on message for today's event. On message. But honestly, that shows you how old I am. I remember it first time round, but we'll not go there. We have some videos as part of the Game Changers campaign. Electric Ireland has been running this really high visibility campaign where you might have seen some of the Northern Ireland ladies on posters with their mini-me's, because can see, can be. This is what we girls, they can have these dreams and they can grow up to be the superstars. So let's hear from the three women who are featured. We've got Lauren Wade and Julie Andrews and Simone McGill.
When you make the team makes you, and it really builds your character and your resilience. It builds your confidence, how to problem solve, how to deal with setbacks. And I think when you play football, when you play any sport, it gives you so much. I think it really drives you on, and you're able to build each other up.
Being on the football pitch has helped me gain the confidence to find my feet. It's not just a sport, it's a family. But once you are on the pitch or in training, the people around you give you confidence. Any young girl that's looking to play football, I think definitely it's something that you should get into. When you make the team makes you. That's really helped me in life today.
I started playing football when I was really young. I felt free playing in a game. I just really enjoyed being part of a team. You know, having to work hard collectively, the mental strength and toughness it takes to overcome challenges. You know, when you make the team makes you. All of them things are now instilled in me, not just on a football pitch, but you know, in life. It's helped shape me as a person and a human being.
When you make the team makes you. The message being brought home there by all three women, Lauren, Julie and Simone. The confidence there mentioned by Lauren, Eliza, you touched on that when you were speaking earlier there about how participation in sport gives you that sense of self-confidence where you know you're enough. We saw it in the play with Kate as well. She knew her limits. She knew to go home. That wasn't for her. She was going to do this and she was going to do that. Not finding yourself when you're a teenager is very hard. Understanding who you are, trying to work it out. It's a work in progress now. Like, you're not going to get the answers when you reach 18 because it happens the rest of years. But that sense of confidence that comes through sport. Can you talk to me just a little bit about that?
Yeah, like the word resilience is this buzzword we're all using now, and we want to have more of it. You're told you don't have enough of it, and how do I build it? And actually, for a lot of us, as we're growing up, we don't know we're building resilience in sport. It's not like we're having, you know, a shake of resilience every night at the training pitch and building it. It's happening in those little moments of pressure, when things don't go your way, when you don't win, when you're not selected for a team, when you experience rejection, everything that you don't choose in life. You're not saying, oh yes, give me more of this because that's helping my resilience. But actually, I found as I was getting older then, like 17, 18, 19, moving into like adult years, and there were other pressures and challenges, me trying to work out who I was, what my place in the world was. It was something that when I had to call upon that inner strength and that confidence, that's where the resilience had been built earlier when I'd been playing that team sport. And, you know, a lot of us go through these tougher times, and you take it for granted because you only know yourself, but it was sort of bouncing back when these obstacles and barriers kept getting in the way. And I just thought, keep moving forward, even though this is really hard, this is scary, I don't feel at my best, but keep moving forward. And that actually is what resilience is. And it doesn't make things less scarier. Sometimes I find like opportunities, when someone says, oh, hey, Eliza, come and be part, of a panel. There is the anxiety and the voices that are saying, not good enough, or what will I say, what if people point and laugh, all of this stuff that goes on, and we carry that through from childhood. But I've always found that stepping forward and saying yes, even though it scares the life out of you, there's always such opportunity that comes out of those little risks, and the resilience is just that little piece of knowing it'll work out. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I trust that it will. and stepping forward through the anxiety and having people around you to just say, hey, do you know what, you'd be great at that, or I've got your back. So that support network around building resilience is so important, because sometimes when you can't be a cheerleader for yourself, or you feel less than, or you've got those little voices going on, having someone else, and women are great for like boosting each other. So try and do more of that. That's what I would say. Try and have each other's backs and say, do you know what, you'd be great at that. Because sometimes even now I need someone to say, hey, why wouldn't you go for that? Like, well, I didn't know, and just having that confidence that someone else believes in me is enough sometimes.
And Nora, you mentioned something interesting there, that you moved here from America at 12. It's exactly the age group we're talking about. So talk about, young women who have grown up in the same area, gone to the same school, have the friend network around them, and they feel like they don't fit in. Here you are being inserted into a network that of people you don't know. How was that for you, and what skills did you get from sport that helped you to assimilate and settle in?
Well, I think moving over here at 12 is such an awkward age for everyone, I feel like. And I really got thrown into, I moved over in the summer, started at a new school, didn't know anyone, didn't have any friends, didn't have much family over here. And I didn't know, I think I felt a bit lost when I first moved here, going, geez, like this is everything so new, everything's so different. And as soon as school started, I signed up for all the sports clubs, and that's how I found myself, and I kind of felt connected to the community. I didn't know any neighbours or anything like that. And that's joining those sport clubs at school is really what helped me settle in and, start to feel like, oh, this is good. Like, I like this move. I like this transition. And I think if I didn't have that, I think actually my sister doesn't play sport, and I think she found it a bit harder to settle in. And I always wonder, is it because she didn't have this constant? Sport knows no language. Like, I've thankfully been able to, even though I'm not a great sports person, I've played in sports tournaments in Germany, in the Middle East, and Cyprus, and all these different places. But even though they're not speaking first language in a lot of those places, sport's the same no matter where you go. So I went from playing in America, moving here, and that was the constant. When I went to football training, I said, oh, this is the same as when I was back home. So it really helped me settle in, gave me a purpose, helped me connect to everyone in the community and really find my place.
Yeah, and anyone in the audience who's maybe thinking of maybe third level education, what the next step is afterwards, you never feel lost. If you have a skill, you can go and find the local football club, and then you'll be brought into that instant family almost. And Jess, like yourself, have you found that sense of community and that sense of family from playing sport?
Yeah, absolutely. I think whenever I started playing football, I look at my friends now, and it's such a vast range of people that I'm now friends with from so many different backgrounds that I definitely wouldn't have ever had the opportunity to mix with or get to know outside of sport. And that's what I really love about coaching girls in school as well, that we're getting like kids from a load of different clubs all playing together in one team, and then they're going back out to their other teams, and they're getting to mix with such a wide range of people. It's creating those connections, and like Eliza said, the sport world is so small that you're able to make connections with so many different people through the world of sport. And when you find your team, it really is your family. It's who you spend your time with, it's who you rely on, it's who you trust, it's who you probably go to if there's anything going on in your life to talk about. But as well as that, you spend a lot of your time training, so that is your social outlet as such, and it's not going out at the weekends, it's going to training and seeing all your friends there and having the fun, enjoyable side of it there too.
Yeah, and then you prioritise the training as well, so everything it takes for you to perform well at training, that goes into the rest of your week also. And we saw that with Kate in the play again, that minding herself from talking about the ice baths and all the rest of it, but she's on to something there, because they do make you feel great. Just finally, because we could talk for forever, but I know time is fast running out. We talked about the coping mechanisms and the transferable skills of sports that you can bring into everyday life, whether that's your professional life or your personal life. And again, really, really well discussed in the play we've just seen. So, Eliza, what have been the coping mechanisms for life that you think you've taken from your sport?
a lot of the work that I do now is in high performance sport, but also in business. And I've just been over in London at the start of the week there chatting to groups of adults that work in the hospitality sector. And we were talking about change and a growth mindset. Sometimes we like things the way they are and we don't want them to change because it feels different. And, you know, I don't feel confident in this. I have to learn something new. I'm not going to be the best at it. And really, like, you know, and so they're navigating their way through that as an adult. Actually, a lot of those skills I was really lucky and privileged to learn through sport. So it was around having a growth mindset and adapting to change. Because the thing is, you know, in high performance or anything that we want to achieve, we have to be accepting of change, even though it is super scary sometimes. That actually the world around us is changing. We all went through a pandemic. You know, it was uncertain. We felt anxiety around it. But being able to have a growth mindset, like you'd go to training and you didn't know what was going to happen. The drills would change every week. You would be in a match. You would have a plan, but it changes. It goes out the window in the first couple of seconds. You know, you have to adapt and you have to sort of be nimble to try and navigate your way through life, because there's going to be these curveballs that come in. You're not always going to get the job, or you're going to get the job, and then you have to make decisions about other opportunities that are coming along your way. So for me, being able to adapt and to gravitate towards change and be more open towards it, it still throws me now a little bit. I went to a new gym and they use machines instead of barbells, and I found myself being like, don't like this. This is different. This is new. But I had to sort of step into it and know, you know, that it's good. It broadens. I develop when I'm in that new environment.
Out of the comfort zone.
Out of the comfort
zone, Eliza. And what about you, Jess?
I think something very similar is, you know, being able to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. Sometimes, you know, you're there, you know, through not your own choice, but and it's been able to, you know, deal with challenges that, you know, you have the self-belief and the confidence that you will be able to overcome it. And it might just be simple things throughout the day. You know, like in work, you're like, oh, flip, I completely forgot that meeting was happening, or I completely forgot that class was today. Sorry, kids. But you know that you're looking and you're going, right, 5 minutes here, I can either sit and stress about that I've only got 5 minutes before the class, or I can pull something together here and, you know, make it worthwhile. And I think it's just small things throughout your day that, you know, that yes, it might be stressful, and it's not that we don't experience stress or anxiety, but it's been able to manage that and to be able to cope with those feelings, and know that you're going to overcome them, whether it's in a social setting or you know, in a work setting, or, you know, going out and trying new teams.
And can I also ask you, how do you approach being captain of a team?
Yeah, I think I was very fortunate in that I was a captain from a very young age, and I think, you know, at that point I was maybe only 18, and I was like a rabbit in headlights. You know, I was very like imposter syndrome. Why me? Why have I been chosen? I'm definitely not the right person for this job. But I think for me, the most important thing is, as a captain, is, you know, making that connection with everyone on the team.
Yeah.
It doesn't always need to be the most vocal person on the team. It doesn't always need to be loud and out there and, you know, always one doing the interviews, but making sure that everyone within the team is, you know, individually looked after and made to feel like they are part of that team, so that collectively we're going towards the same goal. Because, you know, outside of sport, we might have, you know, 100 different things going on in our lives, and they might not have one similarity between them. But whenever we come together, that we've got one main goal, and that's for, you know, us all to come together for success.
And that's why she's the captain, I think, there. And just finally to yourself, Nora, what coping mechanisms have you learned through sport that you have brought and transferred into your life and use on a daily basis?
Well, I would say, like Eliza and Jess both touched on, adapting to change, being able to cope under pressure, time management, all those sorts of things. You know, I use them every day in my research while doing my PhD. I use them when I'm on the pitch, when I'm at home. I think you learn so many skills that help you get through life and just carry you on, and you can apply what you learn in football to pretty much any scenario, which, I mean, I think we saw in the play there. Anytime there was a problem or an uncertainty, Kate was able to call on football to say, okay, I need to breathe, I need to look at what I can do. And yeah, so I think I've taken so many coping skills and just resilience, of course, the big.
And, if there's anybody in the audience who maybe wouldn't be the sportiest, not really into it, sitting here today wondering maybe why they're here, how would you encourage that girl to get stuck in, to get involved? What are the words of wisdom that might get her over the line?
I think I would just say you won't regret it. Like you really won't. I've made friends for life from my football team, and it's gives you something to look forward to. Every week when I'm sitting in the office and I may be stressed with my research and stuff, I can't wait for the workday to be over. Not for me to go home and take a nap or have my dinner or whatever, but I can't wait to go to football and to see my friends and to have that outlet. And I think if you allow sport to be a part of your life, I don't think you'll regret it.
Even if it's team and rain now, Nora?
Even when it's raining out. Last night we had training and it was pretty grim out, but once you're there, the hardest part is getting there, but once you're there, you love it.
And what about you, Jess? What would you say? This is the captain team talk coming now.
Yeah, I think it's about finding something that you enjoy. First of all, one sport isn't going to be, fit for another girl. And finding something that you enjoy and something that you want to work hard at. And, like Nora said, not everyone is going to be the best player on every team, but to find, that group of people that you want to surround yourself with and you want to go and enjoy your time with, you'll get massive, physical benefits, mental benefits and social benefits out of it. But it's just finding what's right for you and making sure that you enjoy it.
People that energise you, and the buses are going. Eliza, yourself, finally.
For me, it's just about being part of something that's bigger than yourself. A lot of the time, like for the teams that I've been in, it's about that connection and that network and showing up for a team of people other than myself. As someone who's retired now from playing team sport, see, having to go and work out on your own and find motivation and that same level of joy. Like, I'm the freak in the circuits class that's going, yeah, you can do it, yeah, good work. And they're looking at me being like, what does she do? And, so like that's a big, like that is the big piece, being something or being a part of something that is bigger than just you and showing up for other people. It just sets you up well for life and how you need to be selfless sometimes.
Brilliant. So inspired after listening to the three of you. Thank you very much, Eliza Downey, Jess Fay and Nora Sullivan. A round of applause for them all, please.